Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the fourth episode of Keeping It on the DL. My name's
This is the
Dave. His
fourth
name's
episode?
Lambert. Yeah, fourth episode, bro.
The fourth episode? We're
Fourth
doing this a fucking month
episode.
already?
Yeah, dude. It's actually crazy to think, man. Time flies.
Jesus, man.
Time flies, my friend.
Well, time doesn't
Um.
fly. Work fucking sucks, bro. That's
Oh,
what
well,
it is.
okay, yeah. I mean, there's that. Although my job's getting
Oh,
better.
my
I'm not gonna lie.
fucking game crashed. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm actually fucking over the shit, man. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alrighty. We got a great episode ahead for you today. If you're new to this podcast, if you haven't seen it, we kind of split things up here. We talk a little bit about some gaming, and we talk a little bit about some sports, more specifically football. Because that's kind of what we're mostly both into. But if you haven't seen it, if you're new to it, be sure to stick around, check us out on the socials. Thank you to everyone so far who's checked out the various clips and has watched the podcast and everything. We love you. We appreciate you. But on today's episode, we're gonna talk about some fun stuff, man. We're gonna talk about how Pokimane wants to lead some legislation against those wonderful online trolls, as well as another streamer naked on a live stream, because I guess that's just the world we live in now. As well as a lot of football stuff happening, with between coaches being cut, as well as JJ Watt retiring, quarterbacks being benched, and then we're also gonna round it out, since this is the last episode of 2022. We're gonna round it out by giving some crazy predictions for next year. All that and more coming up right here on Keeping It on the DL.
That's it. That's it.
That's it, baby. Broncos country, let's ride. So Mr. Lambert, before we
Yeah.
why did you say it like that? What?
Bro, I can't even build a fucking path right, man.
Okay.
It's turning. Why? My zoo needs to be perfect, bro.
Okay. So anywho, um before we jump into everything, obviously Christmas was this past weekend. How was your Christmas, man?
Very fun. Very fun. Family's very fun. And it's cool seeing everyone, getting caught up with everyone. I noticed this has been on a trending path for quite a while, but the older you get, the presents that you receive get worse and worse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really starting to affect me mentally, but it's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fair.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? The presents you get worse, but the presents you give people get better. So
Right?
it's just sort of like
Yeah. And
you
it's always
spend all this money and
because
you get no value back.
exactly.
It's kind of shitty.
And it's always because of the fact that, like, it's the mindset of, you get told, like, and this sounds very, like, selfish and greedy. Like, at the end of the day, if there's thought behind it, that's the thought that counts. But, like, it's always the excuse of, like, oh well, I just don't know what to get you.
Right.
Which is a fair argument, because we're all
Yeah.
adults, so,
Yeah.
like, we all have jobs, meaning we could just go buy whatever the fuck we want. Like,
True.
oh,
True.
that blanket? Yeah, I'm gonna buy it right now. Socks? Yeah, let me just buy that shit right now, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's truthfully, man, I'm cool with, like, gift cards, money. You want to give me some scratch off tickets? Fine.
Mhm.
That's more than enough for me. I don't need much else than that. Although I gotta say, this year, I did get some, like, really cool gifts between I think this really cool, like, Spider-Man tumbler, and the girlfriend went all out on this crazy, like, Rangers package that I told you about.
Yeah.
Um,
True. Yeah.
the Star Wars lamp, like, I got a lot of really cool shit this year, so
Star Wars line, but I didn't hear about that one.
I didn't tell you about that.
No.
I thought I did. Yeah, it's my brother got it for me actually. Him and my little sister. They got me this like Star Wars Millennium Falcon lamp.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's actually really dope. Um, so that was pretty cool. But then I got money, got some gift cards. Like I'm chilling, I'm vibing. But, well, I mean that's good to hear though. That's good to hear that. Yeah, you at least enjoyed yourself. You had fun, and that's always important.
Yeah. Yep. It's family's a big deal, you know. You gotta appreciate the little things.
Exactly, exactly. And I hope all of you listening, watching, hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas as well. Hope you all had some some good gifts come your way. The holidays can be a stressful time for people, so
True.
hope it was nothing but joy and happiness and again, hope it was good. Hope it was good. Um, so anywho, let's dive in. Let's get into this. So recently making the rounds, really just a few days ago. Pokimane, who is a fantastic content creator on Twitch, and that's not me being a simp. That's just a straight
Certainly not.
fact. Um, but I am totally not tier 3 sub to her. Just saying. But no, awesome content creator, and over the course of the past year and a half, even really 2 years, she's been trying to implement different things on Twitch to try to make the overall experience not only as a content creator but also as a viewer better and safer. Obviously, most recently, the whole gambling thing. She was one of the pioneers behind the recent change that Twitch made there, um, which then got completely overshadowed by the Mizkif stuff.
True.
But again, she's always been big and it's leading that. And recently, she came up with an idea for some changes in or I'm sorry, for creating some legislation, and kind of being and spearheading and being at the helm of that. Um, and well, let's dive in. Let's take a listen to what she said.
Twitch chat brain. I would like to facilitate the creation of legislation that holds people accountable for the actions that they do online. I don't know if I should get into the details because it might rattle some folks, but yes. But yes. I think there are some companies that I'm going to message, or not companies, organizations that are involved with certain causes, and I'll be like, listen, if you ever need someone to, I'm your girl. Because I think if you want to pass a bill, you usually go in front of a group of politicians and you explain your cause. I'm like, I'll do it. I will do it. I have so many things to say.
So, first off, not gonna lie, the first time I watched this clip,
Mhm.
when at the end where she said, "Explain your cause," I thought she said "cock."
Oh,
Like that's just what I heard. Um, which was I had to do a double take there because I'm like, wait, what?
yeah, that
Um,
wouldn't make much sense, would it?
no, it would not. And she goes like more into detail. That's obviously a little bit shorter version of the clip, but
Mhm.
saying some various things, and she didn't really give a lot of info there. But I mean, ultimately, my question for you,
Yeah.
because it's the internet, right? Like we understand that you and I growing up in this internet age, we understand, especially the social media side of it. You and I understand the fact that that's what the internet is. It's just a bunch of trolls. It doesn't matter what it is. Every post you look at, in the history of mankind, there's somebody on there who's either trolling, to start a fight, to try to be funny, just whatever.
Yeah.
You can go on Facebook and post a status saying that your cat got ran over, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's gonna make some great Chinese food." You know what I mean? Like somebody's just gonna say some random
Right.
shit. Um, do you think that there should be legislation created to essentially keep people from just trying to be uh, a bunch of idiots, essentially?
Uh, Funny enough, this might surprise you, but I actually don't think there should be any. Um,
And
for this,
actually, I agree.
yeah. I'm looking at it from more of uh, it's like a criminal justice mindset, but
Sure.
um, I just don't think it's feasible to be able to do it in any capacity whatsoever. Um, the amount of people who use the internet, and the amount of people who say dog shit and
Hmm.
threaten dog shit, you'll never be able to do anything about any of them. There's so many ways that they can get around even being able to ID who they could possibly be. It's just there's definitely some things that you could do
Yeah.
about like some obvious stuff like people who SWAT, like yeah, you should
Right.
probably go hard on people like
That's
that,
yeah. Yep. I
right?
agree.
But people who just talk shit or bully on the internet, like listen, I respect Pokimane. I think she's a great content creator or whatever. But if she doesn't want to get bullied on the internet, then she shouldn't have a career on the internet. And that's like I'm always gonna hold that standpoint.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form feasible to just like even like find people who say bullshit on the internet. It's
Yeah.
just you just can't do it. It's just
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah. The only way you'd be able to even potentially do it would be the FCC would have to get involved, and I mean, they would have to control the government, or sorry, control the internet rather.
Yep.
The government would have to run the internet, um, and immediately just block out specific words just everywhere.
Yep. Censor shit. People's
Yep,
privacy becomes ruined at that point.
exactly. Yeah,
It
I mean that
too
is
much bullshit.
probably the only way you could do it. I think like if you're, let's say, your Twitch, for example, or even YouTube, and you want to do a better job at moderating that stuff,
Hmm.
that's one thing. At least auto moderating, right? Um, and sometimes, I mean, they definitely got to tweak it and work on it, because sometimes like they'll block stuff that they shouldn't block, and then there's stuff that gets through that should be blocked. But
Yeah, well, one
um,
idea for like expanding more on that would be like if Twitch were to start taking more of a stance on like, hey, we don't want like all this dog shit in our chats.
yeah,
Start giving like more incentives for people to want to be mods for creators, because mods right now are just like they get nothing, right? I mean, the content creators themselves, there's very few of them who actually pay their mods, and then from Twitch, they get nothing from Twitch themselves. Like they're like they don't get a they don't even get a sub for the fucking content creator. It's like
yeah,
at least give them something like that, or give them some like don't throw them some bits every month or some shit. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah,
give them something to incentivize people to want to be able to moderate for more people.
yeah. But the issue there is money. So, like we're talking about a corporation who just not that long ago changed their ad revenue split to take more money than what they were paying the content creator, um as well as just all the random things they have done over the various years. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a business. Amazon wants to see profit from Twitch. They haven't seen profit from Twitch in a long time. Um, so ultimately, at the end of the day, they're just going to focus way too much on the money aspect of it, rather than you know, as essentially paying people for doing their job. Um, but but
Yeah,
but ultimately, again, at the end of the day, I agree with you. Like I think there's no way. I mean, unless somebody can think of a way that you and I can't think of. To be able to go about that, right? It's like to some way, somehow, you know, catch these people. But like, I
it's
mean,
just it's not feasible, dude. It's just not.
It's not. And on top of that, like, are we gonna sit there and say that, like, oh, this dude, I don't know, said that I had a weird mustache. Like, oh, is he supposed to go to jail now? Like what's the punishment at that point?
Yeah, I was wondering that. That's why I said fining, because that'd be the only single thing I could actually think of to like punish anyone for anything. Like, dude,
Right.
like saying shit, unless it's a threat. I mean, it is what it is. Saying things isn't illegal, okay?
Yep.
And there's not even such thing as hate speech in the U.S. So you can't even get people on that.
Right.
So it's just like I don't really know where she's trying to bring it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if she's trying to just to get any level of bullying just like punishable by law in terms of they go to jail, but I
Right.
think that'd be a big mistake.
I agree. No, that'd be too much. Especially because then on top of that, right, it's the internet, right? So how do you prove that this specific person was the person
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
on the
That's
computer at
that's what I
that
said.
time,
Yeah,
right? Like,
identifying who the people are
right.
would be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of households who like share computers, or obviously you got
yeah,
kids
exactly.
going on their parents' computers. Like,
I'm gonna say I'll bring a Pokimane stream in fucking in school on one of the school computers
yeah,
and say some dog shit. So,
yeah,
okay, figure out what one of the 1,000 kids it was who talked shit to Pokimane. You know what I
right,
mean? It's impossible, man. You just
yeah,
can't do it.
yeah. No, there's no. I agree. There's just no feasible way of going about it, and I mean, ultimately, I guess like on paper, maybe it's a decent idea.
Hmm.
Obviously, you and I, we don't necessarily support bullying or anything like that. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, I don't see, like you said, I just don't see how it's feasible. I don't see how you can, without the government essentially regulating the internet
Yeah,
more
which
so
would
than
be the
they
last
already
thing.
kind of do.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
last thing anyone wants.
exactly. Um, yeah, without that, I mean, yeah, I honestly don't know how you could realistically go about it,
Yeah,
but I mean, again, decent idea on paper, I suppose. You know what I
it's a
mean?
just idea. It's just not
Yeah,
a realistic one.
yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Especially because then at that point, like, then you'd almost have to just make bullying, and you even kind of said it. You'd almost have to just make bullying in general illegal.
Hmm.
Um, and even that, like,
But then what
what
defines bullying? You know,
right? You know what I mean? And
there's so
then
many different things.
on top of that, like, most bullying tends to happen usually in schools, right? So like,
Yeah,
are you gonna like one? A teacher can't like fine a student or arrest them or anything like that
well, they couldn't
for
anyway. I mean, they're all minors, right? So
right, you know what I mean? So like that's the thing, right? So like is a teacher going to sit there and go to the police and be like, hey, this kid was bullying this other kid,
yeah,
and then is this officer supposed to walk up to the little 5-year-old like, hey, sorry, I gotta fine you $1,000 now? like
yeah,
like
yeah. Literally, fucking like just fucking chop the guy in the neck and fucking drag the kid to his car. You're going to jail.
right,
It is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, sorry man, just had to do it.
Teacher
picks
said
the
you were bullying.
picks the kid up by its ankles and just hangs it upside down. like Yeah, like how
Gives him
like
a swirly. How do you like it?
oh god. Um
Want to bully kids? Little shit.
I just picture fucking like Arnold Schwarzenegger just walking around just trying to fucking find kids. Oh.
Anti-bully police.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't see how you realistically do
It'd
it.
be impossible to even define bullying because I mean,
Yeah.
people consider themselves bullied when their feelings are hurt, and like, dude,
Sure.
I mean, everyone's feelings get hurt over anything. It's like it's be like what you're insecure about, like just something that doesn't sit right with you. It's just it wouldn't be fair. I don't think.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. But um I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll obviously we'll follow it. We'll see what happens as time progresses, and again, maybe something gets proposed that actually is is again maybe somebody has some brilliant idea that we're just not smart enough to come up with.
Yeah, true. We could just be fucking morons.
Sure, sure. Um, so I don't know how familiar you are with Kick.com.
Is that messenger app?
I think that's what it used to be, but like now it's a live streaming platform.
Oh, what the
Um,
fuck?
it's pretty much Twitch. Like literally, if you go and you look at it, it is Twitch. The layout of it, the way everything looks and works, like it is literally Twitch.
Mhm.
Um, but again, it's another live streaming platform. Just trying to, do its thing.
Yep.
Um, they share very similar TOS with Twitch as well, as far as things you can and can't do. Um, and this guy, I guess I kind of give him credit. So, a man by the name of Suspendus
Mhm.
um has been accused. The funny part, yet again, of having sex with a apparently with a hooker while live
My
on
guy.
stream. And then he also fully revealed himself full nude on the stream as well. Um and now granted this was a couple days ago. This was 3 days ago.
Mhm.
But as of literally yesterday, he still was not banned.
Um, Good for him, man.
I I guess. And some people were, being the internet and were like, well, what's the big deal? It's not Twitch. Why are we trying to act like it's Twitch? One, again, the website pretty much is Twitch. Two, it shares the same to us. No nudity on stream or anything like that. Um, but what, why? I like that is the only thing I can sit there and think. I mean, I guess it brings some spotlight to you. You know what I mean? Like it brings some attention to you.
True.
Um, but other than that, man, I just don't understand why that's what you would want to do like at all.
Yeah, I don't really I mean, listen, I don't give a shit if people get naked and fuck on stream. I don't give a shit. But like if it's in your TOS that's not allowed, you should probably enforce it
Yeah.
because it just
I
kind of sends the wrong message, I think.
Right, like to me that's the bigger issue. Um And I mean, like, and we've even seen it with Twitch, right? Like, there was that girl who literally had sex like on stream. And she got like a 3-day ban or some shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Um, and they didn't even go the full length of the ban.
Yep.
Um, Yet meanwhile, apparently, Aiden, who is pretty big in the Call of Duty community, supposedly showed nudity on his stream, um, which he did not, and got a 14-day ban for that.
Yeah. Well, it's like when XQC, I think he accidentally showed a picture of a dick for like 0.1 second on
Yeah,
stream, and he got 30 days for it.
yeah,
So it's just
yeah,
like, again, we could talk about it all day, the unfairness and the moderation, but
yeah.
man, it's done with, and it'll always be a thing. It seems like, as long as Twitch is under the ownership that it is, so have to
That's
deal with
fair.
it, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you think that like I was thinking about this the other day because I saw like I was going through Twitter and just more like Twitch drama nonsense that seems to be happening like every week. Do you think ever since some of these bigger streamers started leaving Twitch to go to YouTube, do you think that Twitch just almost isn't even worth watching anymore?
Um, I mean, obviously, this is just gonna depend on who your favorite creators are, but
Sure.
If you're talking about, I mean, watching is one thing. If you're talking about investing in Twitch, meaning like paying for subs and fucking buying Nitro, whatever the fuck it's called, um, probably not. Because again, at one point, there's probably like 4 or 5 people that you watched, um, and you fucking just have Nitro, get ad free, be able to watch all of them, switch between all the channels, no problem. But now, let's say 2 of them are on Twitch now, and the other 3 went to YouTube. It's like, okay, well, why should I invest in Twitch when I'm switching platforms so often anyway?
Yep.
So it's just sort of like you almost want to go for like a free to watch option for both. You can just kind of deal with the ads on both, and then just watch whoever you want.
Yeah. And I mean, with Twitch, like we've experienced it so many times. Like you go to open up a stream, and maybe it's just a random streamer that you're like, huh, let me go check this person out. And then you immediately get hit with like 5 30-second ads that you can't skip.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you
It's really,
immediately just want to just turn it off, and you're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm good. Thanks, guys.
yep.
Uh,
It's immediately demotivating of wanting to fucking just even see. Like, I just want to see what they're doing. I can't even see what they're doing.
yeah.
I just get hit with ads. It's like, dude, give me
Yep.
30 seconds of fucking watch time for free, bro. Please.
Yep. Um yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Like I feel like I mean all my personal favorite streamers aside from XQC, um none of them stream on Twitch anymore. They're all
Yeah.
elsewhere. Um and they're all thriving elsewhere too. Like that's the even better part of it. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just feel like I couldn't even tell you the last time I actually pulled up a Twitch stream.
Really.
Couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you the last time I actually went on Twitch. Period. Um, it's been a while. Um,
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I can't blame you though, because again, it's like I know you specifically were really into both Tim and Doc, and they're
yeah,
both on YouTube.
right.
So
Tim,
you know,
Doc, um, Stone Mountain,
yep,
who's on Facebook, Zlander, who's also on Facebook. Um, I even started getting into Lupo again, and again, he's also on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah,
Um, yeah, like that's the thing, man. Like like obviously the people I watch, yes, they are no longer on Twitch, so that's less of a reason for me to go to Twitch. But I remember like for a while, like when I was watching Twitch, like anytime in the past before I like really got into watching streaming,
Mhm.
or streamers, um, in the past I just watched Doc, like Doc and Stone Mountain. That was really about it. I didn't really watch too many other people.
Yeah,
But anytime like Doc wasn't live or wasn't streaming, I would go and I would, maybe pull somebody else up and would sit there and try to find other people. Now, granted, obviously the live streaming landscape has changed quite a bit now, right? Like, like you have, Facebook gaming, and you got obviously YouTube Live has grown and has become, a really good platform now. Now you obviously have this kick.com. For a little bit you had Mixer. Like again, the platform or the that genre has changed quite a bit over the years. Um but yeah, like I just like I remember sitting there going on Twitch and be like, let me go check out this person. Let me go check out this person. Now, like one, I almost don't want to, because I know when I pull it up, it's just gonna be some sort of like I feel like I'm watching high schoolers, man. Like I feel like it's just gonna be some sort of like just nonsense drama that I don't give two shits about.
that is true. Yeah,
Because that's what it is with most of the big streamers on the platform. Like they're all a part of this one big, clique essentially. And one person's like talking shit about this person, another person's got this going on. Like it's just that's all it is, just nonstop all the time at this point. Um,
not wrong, dude.
Which, like, for a little bit, sure, it could be fun. It could be, nice to bring out the popcorn and just eat away as you're kind of watching it happen. But like
Yeah,
after so long, you're just like, I'm gonna sound like every Twitch and YouTube viewer ever. Just play some games, man. Like
yeah,
that's
just
that's
play games, bro.
that's why I'm watching it here. And to round out the gaming topics of this podcast, To also kind of round out the year of 2022. Escape from Tarkov just recently had a uh big server wipe and big update, added a bunch of new stuff. Um,
Indeed.
when was that? It was like 3 days ago, right? Something like that.
I think 2 days ago. Yeah.
2 days ago, yeah. Um, I'm seeing a lot of positive stuff. I mean, me personally, not a Tarkov guy. Um, for kind of obvious reasons. I saw I saw a clip of Stone Mountain 64 playing it,
Yeah.
and it was like a 16-minute queue time for him to get into a game,
Yeah.
and he literally died 40 seconds later. Um, that alone would make me probably shove my computer just in my mouth.
Yeah. It's one of the big
Just
downsides
swallow
with
it whole.
Tarkov.
Um, excuse me, but um, you are a Tarkov person.
Hmm.
Obviously you've played the update, you played the streets. What is it? Is it a? It's a map, right?
The new map. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there's obviously like new guns and stuff. Um, give me your impressions on this.
Well, the map itself is really nice. It's by far their biggest map to date. Looks really good. I think it's well designed. Um, Unfortunately, it's kind of a super mess right now in terms of just network. So me and Terry were playing, and basically you go to move, and you'd rubber band back just over and over
Nice,
and over and over and over again.
nice,
And so we went into this house that was like cursed, fucking religious shit, fucking bodies hanging everywhere. And
sick.
that's like our fucking souls got trapped there eternally because every time we try to leave the house, we just rubber band right back. And so it was kind of annoying. Um, but eventually we got out of the house and we saw another player who was just standing still doing nothing. So he was probably also just fucking lagging out of his mind. And so we just killed him,
Sure.
fucking took all his shit. And then we got in another fight and ended up dying. And that was the only time we played Streets. And the rest of the time we played the old maps. Because right now Streets is just a bit unplayable. But
Gotcha.
yeah, wipes are good. Because anyone doesn't know, Tarkov has a wipe probably every couple months, every 3 months ish,
Yeah,
and
heard about that.
the game gets very stale by the end of that time. And a wipe sort of just like resets your character, resets all your gear,
Right.
and it makes the game fresh again.
Yep.
Um, this one's bigger than the last few, particularly because so they are adding Streets of Tarkov, which has been like the most anticipated map basically since they showed it off like years ago.
Right.
Um, but they're also doing I think Twitch drops like shortly too, so the game should also get really popular again on Twitch like it was at last time. But yeah, dude, Tarkov's great. I mean, it's obviously not for everyone, but
Right.
like
Well,
the game a lot.
the other side of it there too, though, is that like it's great for like you know about a month, and then
Well, yeah.
and then and then you just wait for the next wipe. You know what I mean? I just I don't see how that could be fun.
Um,
Like knowing you essentially have a month to get to play the game, and hopefully it's in a good state for you to be able to play it, and
yeah.
and then after that you're just you're dealing with hackers or just whatever the issues may arise.
I mean, I understand the thought process behind that, but the game's like nothing else, so it's just sort of like
True, there's that.
it's extremely satisfying. I can't think of another game that gives you the feeling that Tarkov does.
Yeah, I mean, for like how hardcore it is, like obviously if you manage to get a bunch of good loot and then and then extract successfully,
Yep,
that definitely feels very rewarding. So
no doubt.
um DMZ gives me like that similar vibe, that similar feeling.
Mhm.
Um and I think that's why I kind of enjoy it. And for someone like me who prefers the more casual side of it, to where it's not as I don't know, not as risky, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's where, like, for players like myself, that's kind of what makes it a little bit more entertaining in that regard. But um,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like you said, Tarkov's not really for everyone. But I definitely hear you. Like, I agree. Like, when you do get that successful raid, like, it's a pretty rewarding feeling when
no doubt. Yeah.
when that happens. So yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. But now we move on to some NFL. Move on to the sports portion of things. And this sports segment is brought to you by whatever the hell this is that I'm drinking. Some sort of strawberry juice. Tastes good. Anyway, a lot of big stuff happening over the course of the past week. Um, the one of the biggest things though is Nathaniel Hackett, the Broncos coach. Broncos country, let's ride, baby.
Yeah.
Was fired just a couple days ago. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Monday was when he was let go. Um, and what's interesting about that, I mean, it's interesting in and of itself. Because one, I don't know if I would necessarily blame him for the Broncos' struggles. Um, I mean, you could potentially make that argument, but truthfully, I just don't think you're just seeing enough out of your quarterback. I mean, I think that's where the biggest issue lies.
I was gonna say I think
Um,
Hackett unfortunately got maybe canned a bit just for Russell Wilson's performance, but
right. Um, but the other part that's interesting. So this time of year is obviously very big when it comes to stuff like this because I mean this is known as this is cutting season, right? Like this is typically the time of year, the last couple weeks of the NFL
mhm.
regular season, where teams who are out of the playoff hunt or really struggled all year. This is kind of when they decide that they're gonna go and they're gonna go make their cuts, right? Like they're gonna get rid of their coach, start looking to rebuild and bring somebody else in.
Yep, no doubt.
Um, but what's interesting is that so again, Nathaniel Hackett, he was fired. Again, I believe on Monday, on the day after Christmas.
Mhm.
Merry Christmas to him, I guess.
Yeah, feels
Um,
bad.
yeah. But just last week, I don't know if you saw this, but just last week, in a league meeting, um, there were NFL officials who kind of informed all the owners in the league that they should be kind of weary of them, just cutting staff members willy nilly. Um, in the past 5 years, teams have spent $800 million on fired coaches and front office executives.
Jesus.
800 mil.
Yeah.
And to kind of point out some stats there. So uh Matt Rule was the Panthers head coach.
Mhm.
They didn't really give him too much of a chance, understandably so, because truthfully, Steve Wilkes is, I think, doing a much better job than he was.
Yeah.
So whatever. But Matt Rule had 4 years left on his contract, worth $60 million. Frank Reich in Indianapolis had just signed an extension just last year, for 4 years. That was paying him $9 million a year.
Yep.
Titans GM John Robinson gets still the greatest firing I think I've ever seen. Gets fired after AJ Brown lights up their defense.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that's historic right there, like, that'll just
yeah.
nothing will ever surpass that.
But he just signed an extension with the Titans back in February. And it was a 4-year extension there.
Yep.
So we see this happen time and time again, right? Like this happens in every sports league, right? Like this is just pro sports, right? Obviously, the coach, manager, like these guys are they are the leaders of the team, right? Like they are the ones who are supposed to keep the team in check and provide the guidance and coach, right? Like that's their job. That's what they do.
Yep.
So obviously, if a coach is struggling to control a locker room or kind of get the guys to feed into them and get behind them, like I totally get wanting to obviously start fresh um and kind of start over, so to speak.
Yep.
But my question for you is, especially after kind of hearing those numbers and stuff, do you think that it is unfair the way coaches and the front end personnel, front office personnel, I don't know why I keep saying front end, front office personnel, um, get treated, so to speak. And then again, not even necessarily just in the NFL, but in all pro sports.
Um, it's a bit of a tough one. I just feel like, I mean, they have. I don't think their jobs any less. Um, what's the word when like you're I can't think of the word when your job's like you like you can't get fired basically. Like what's that called? When you have a what job?
Um, I'm blanking on the word. I mean, essentially, you're just immune to being fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
I just
that.
don't
I'm
think
blanking on the term.
yeah, I can't think of the term. But I don't think they are any less uh or I guess I think they're more likely to be fired than a player would be because at the end of the day, they're all based on performance in the NFL.
Sure.
So if a player has a bad season, I mean he can get cut or traded. Pretty we've seen it happen before, right? So
Sure.
um I don't I guess you make the argument there though. The difference is maybe the player could be making more money depending on situations, but I think I don't know. I think it's comparable to like a player's like job security. So I don't know. I think that how they're fired kind of sucks sometimes. Like in
Sure.
terms of like Hackett's case, fucking day after Christmas, or the Titans GM case, just like it's unlucky. Like the receiver I trade has a good game against us, and I'm fired. It's
Yeah.
like that kind of
Yeah.
blows. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily unfair compared to any other position in the NFL.
I think. I think. I mean, life's not fair, right? But I do think there is some degree of like, you know, man, that's kind of fucked up. Like obviously going into it, like in any job, not even just pro
And
sports,
how
like in
fucked up is fucked up.
that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
But no, man, like in any job, right? Like even jobs that you and I have, right? Like we can get fired at literally any point. Um, for whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it's not fair. You know what I mean? It's not like you're necessarily getting a notice that like, hey,
hmm
you're gonna get fired unless it is performance related, obviously, and that's a whole different story. But like, um, but yeah, I mean, your boss, your owners, whatever field you work in, can sit there and just say, hey, you know what? I don't want you here anymore, and see ya, gone. Um, and obviously,
Yep.
like you kind of know that going into it, but I do think that maybe, you know, if I'm a, I mean, first off, if I'm the owner of a pro sports team, and especially after hearing that kind of that number being thrown out there as far as how much money we're just throwing away,
hmm
why am I investing so much time into these contracts then?
Yeah.
Now, granted, I remember back when John Fox became the head coach of the Broncos.
Hmm.
They gave him, I believe, it was a 4 or 5 year contract. I can't remember exactly, but they gave him a pretty hefty contract,
Yeah.
and he told them like, "Hey, it's probably going to take me at least 3 years to turn this team around."
Yeah.
And sure enough, he did, right? And obviously, them bringing in Peyton Manning was a big help, and they go on to win the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's probably the case in a lot of these, negotiations where a lot of coaches are like, "Hey, listen, it's probably gonna take me some time. So if you want me to be your guy, like, there's gotta be a little bit of security there." But at the same token, I also feel like no, like, listen, like we see it happen time and time again. Like you can see whether progressions being made
Yep.
within 2 years easily.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Um, so I like to me, I almost think, you know, like maybe if I'm an owner, I'm just relying on 2 year contracts. Now, granted, if other owners are like, well, no, we'll give you like a 5 year contract if you come coach for us instead.
Hmm.
Well then obviously, yeah, there's a chance you're kind of losing out on that potential coaching candidate that you really wanted.
True.
Um, but dude, I mean that is a lot of money to just be throwing away.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like, even from like, from an owner perspective, it's like, I think, why would you fire a coach or even a GM after 1 year? I just feel like you can't even get an idea of like what could be.
Yep.
I guess in like some cases, like in fucking Urban Meyer's case, it was just like, I don't think there's any saving this, to be honest. But
Right. And I
um,
would agree with that.
like in Hackett's case, I don't think you could judge it that well, just because Russell Wilson's playing like dog shit,
Yep.
and I don't think Hackett alone is the cause of him playing dog shit.
No.
So it's like, if you're firing Hackett, and I'm assuming they're going to keep Russell Wilson around. And what happens now when the next coach you hire and Wilson plays like dog shit again? It's like, what, do you fire that guy too?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's tough,
Yep.
man. You got to give these guys at least a couple years to get their systems in place and get the players that they need and shit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like and that's the thing, man. Like if you're not like granted going into the season, everybody looked at that. I mean, this has been a crazy year for the NFL. Um but going into the season, like everybody looked at that Denver roster and really just that division as a whole being the best division in the NFL. Like nobody was even going to be close to like everybody looked at the division, myself included, and was like, those are 4 teams that could easily be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Everybody looked at it that way. And instead, we got like, the Chiefs obviously being the Chiefs. The Chargers are, they're starting to come on towards the
Yep.
end of the year. And then you got obviously the Raiders and the Broncos who Lord. Um but yeah, I don't know, man. Like I just I don't think coaches are given enough time. Like I think success is expected, pretty much day one when you walk in the building. Um, and that's hard to do, man. That is very hard to like the right pieces already have to be in place to make
Yep.
that happen.
No doubt.
Like I like if you think back to like when Sean McVay took over for the Rams when they fired Jeff Fisher, they already had good pieces in place there.
Yep.
Like when you
Indeed. Yeah.
have when you have one of the best defensive players of all time in Aaron Donald on the team already, and you're going into that next year, your number one pick in Jared Goff, which obviously Goff has had a hit or miss career so far.
Yeah. Fair
Um,
enough.
But right, like your number one pick in Jared Goff, you had Cooper Cup, who was obviously a steal for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you had good pieces in place already, and you bring in a guy like Sean McVay, who's an offensive genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like obviously you're gonna see success right away there.
No doubt.
So I don't know, man. I think I don't know if the NFL or really any organization out there could ever like attempt to implement some sort of I guess protection against that. Um
Yeah.
but I
I
will
mean,
say this,
I don't know. Yeah.
if these owners who are making billions of dollars from from these teams, if these owners are willing to part ways with that amount of money, I think the NFL salary cap needs to either be much higher
Mm-hmm.
or needs to just be abolished altogether.
Um. Oh man, not having a cap would be kind of insane. But
Not having a
um.
cap would be nuts. I think we'd be seeing some contracts that are bigger than baseball contracts, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I do think the cap needs to be higher. And the argument as to why the cap isn't higher is because the NFL owners feel like the players are making too much money, which is the biggest load of horseshit I think I've ever heard. Like these guys are running full speed at one another, risking their health and their bodies to obviously entertain all of us and you know and play the sport we all love and enjoy.
Yep.
Meanwhile, these owners are just they're sitting up in their luxury boxes, just signing checks,
That's
just
it.
making all this money.
Yeah, they don't even have to make like decisions really. Like,
No,
you know,
no, their
oh, here's my
decision making,
GM. Go make
literally,
all the decisions.
that's yeah, right. Like that's their decision making is building a front office below them, and that's it. That's all you gotta do.
Yep. Like, dude, listen, I love Jeffrey Lurie. Okay. I
Mm.
think he's a great owner.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah,
Okay. But my guy has been getting carried by Howie Roseman for like fucking 20 years now. Okay. Like,
yeah,
it's just insane.
yeah, yeah, and like similar thing for me. Like love Robert Kraft, that like such a stand up dude. Like
Mhm.
minus the whole thing that happened with that like I don't know, he's getting happy endings or whatever in that massage parlor or some shit. But
God, yeah,
I
true.
mean, fuck it, whatever, have fun. But no, all in all, like a really stand up dude, and has done so much for various communities and things like that, and giving back, and again, just a good dude. Um, but kind of like same thing. He's had Bill Belichick kind of being the brains of literally everything that goes on in that organization
Yep.
for over 20 years now. Like it's kind of doesn't surprise me.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like again, I don't think the league could really ever implement anything like the max contract you can give a coach after they first sign with the team or first become a head coach is like 2 years or some shit or 3 years. I think that'd be kind of crazy to do.
Well, especially if again one guy ends up being a piece of shit. It's like, dude, I'm stuck with this guy now. Like,
Right. Um yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's I think that's just forever going to be just a constant revolving door. Um that just never goes away. You know what I mean? I think it's just the way it is. It's gonna be the way
yep,
of the land for as long as time, honestly, until Roger Goodell decides to do something else that's really stupid because that's just what he does.
yep, sounds about right.
But anywho, um, slightly more recent news than that. I think that was literally like a day later. Um, one of my personal favorite players to ever play the game. JJ Watt, one of the best defensive players to ever play the game. Um, Decided that he's going to be hanging up the cleats at the end of the season.
Mhm.
Where would you rank him? Obviously, JJ Watt, another one of those guys who got stuck in an organization where just couldn't do enough, right? Just such a phenomenal talent. Obviously, had some injury issues here and there,
Yeah.
but just could never get quite there to get to that Lombardi Trophy. Where would you rank him in terms of your your top players to ever play the game that never won the big one?
Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, JJ Watt. I feel like the last 5-ish years he's been kind of bad, to be honest. Or just not particularly great.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, obviously in the beginning of his career he was absolutely insane. So like, he's definitely up there. He's definitely pretty high up there, I would say. And yeah, I definitely his career got wasted where he was, unfortunately.
Yep.
But that's just how it is sometimes, man.
Sure.
Look at Larry Fitzgerald. It's just
Sure.
how it is
Yeah.
sometimes. You could be a great player and you're stuck with a really bad franchise, and hey, maybe sometimes it's your own decisions, right? I mean, you could have gotten out sooner.
Sure. Right, but you want to be
Um,
loyal to the team that you're with and all that.
exactly. Yeah, you're trying to be
Yep.
loyal, or you believe that you guys are close or something like that, and
Sure.
then 15 years go by and you're at the end of your career.
Yeah.
So it's unlucky, but yeah, JJ Watt is obviously, like I said, in the start of his career was just looked at as the fucking defensive end in the
Yep.
league.
Yep.
Obviously, as of recent, not so much, and his brother has sort of taken over that
Sure.
whole idea. Even though I guess he's a linebacker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Um,
Even still.
but yeah, he's definitely high up there. Um, great player. You know, making the decision to retire, I think, is probably a tough one. But
Oh, always.
I respect him for hanging up the cleats
Yeah.
and not dragging out his career longer than he necessarily has to, and you know, should be happy about how his career went because obviously he had a good one. So
Yeah. No, I mean a multi-time defensive player of the year. NFL sack leader multiple years as well.
oh,
Um, yeah, no, I mean, again, one of the best defense players to ever play the game.
hmm
There's no doubt about that. I would definitely. There's been a lot of great players over the years that have never won the big one, and have gone down to be Hall of Famers. Obviously, JJ Watt is going to be another one of those guys.
yeah,
I mean, I would definitely throw him in my probably top 7 of that list.
okay,
But I couldn't tell you exactly where in that list. I'd really have to sit down and think about it. But
yeah,
I mean, Dan Marino is probably at the top, truthfully. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, again, just a stand up human being, right? Obviously won the Walter Payton Award.
hmm
Um, for being the man of the year, and um, and again, obviously just a all around great football player, and his drive, his mentality, and his intensity on the field, it's unmatched, man. Like it's hard to find sometimes, and I mean he brought it all the time, and even through the injuries, and like yeah, obviously these past couple of years not so great. You get older, it happens, but injuries played a factor in that too. Like
yeah, very
he's
true. Yeah,
he spent a lot of the past couple of
yeah,
years hurt.
I forgot about that. He was kind of injury prone for a while there.
Yeah. Even this year, he spent some time on the sidelines for a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Although,
lucky.
funny enough, he's actually coming on strong lately. I think through his past like 3 games, he's got like 5 sacks.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like he's been playing well. Um, but but no, I mean, obviously Great for him. Um, amazing career. I mean, I could only imagine what it's like. Because obviously you and I will never, ever, ever play in the NFL. But
Says you.
says me, I know. But I can only imagine what it must be like to go throughout that entire career and have a very long career and successful one
Yep.
and not win the big one. I can, because that's what you play for, right? Like that's the whole reason why you're there. Obviously the money, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why you continue to compete and practice and drive yourself harder and harder and harder each and every day is to win that trophy.
True.
And just never happened. I can only imagine what that must be like. But at the end of the day, I think he could definitely keep his head up, hang his hat well. Like I think again, one of the best to ever do it. So you know, good for him. To I kind of wish he was ending it on a more positive note. It's just another one of those guys where unfortunately just wasn't in the cards, man. Just wasn't
Yeah.
just wasn't meant to be. Shocking thing, here's what he does, right? So he retires. So he's not on the Cardinals roster anymore.
Yes.
And then he signs with whoever is going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
He does what?
He signs with whoever's going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
Oh, fuck no.
Bro, if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, and they got a chance to sign J.J. Watt, you're saying no?
I don't fucking want him.
What do you mean?
I like my defense. My defense is crazy good, man. They're
Yeah,
insane.
the
Batshit
Eagles
nuts.
defense is actually great. I mean, granted, they did just give up a lot of points to Dallas, but other than that,
Okay, bro. Okay, but bro. Okay, but bro. Listen, Darius Slay was like on something. He must have had blue balls or
yeah,
something.
mm-hmm.
It's the only
Right,
explanation, man.
right. Speaking of the Eagles, Jalen Hurts listed as doubtful again for for Sunday's game.
Yep.
As an Eagles fan, are you worried?
No. I think I'll play anyway, but I think Minshew should be able to beat the Saints anyway. And if he's not, then Jalen will be full balls to the walls for fucking um for the Giants game and lock up that fucking 1 seed baby, and we'll be all right. But
Yeah.
no, I saw clips from Jalen at practice, and he looked comfortable, and I'm assuming that's even before they pump any fucking medication into his shoulder. So
Right. Yeah, I
um,
mean, Sirianni was saying like it was, solid practice. Like he, seemed like he was doing okay, but obviously, this is your MVP candidate QB who's been, having a phenomenal season all year long. Um, so obviously you don't want to take any big risk, and kind of hurt yourself going into the playoffs. But even then, I'd agree with you. Like I wouldn't be worried. I mean, your backup QB put up what 34 points against the Cowboys.
true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Indeed.
I wouldn't be too worried. And while yes, it was an off game for the defense, bro. I mean, that is a very very good defense. That pass rush is it's not talked about enough. It's one of the best pass rushes we've ever seen in NFL history.
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, they've been insane.
Yeah.
The D line's been absolutely wicked.
They have what 3 players now that have over 10 sacks on the year.
I think 3. Yeah, and they almost
Yeah,
have 4 because I think
almost have 4.
I forget what the last one is.
I can't remember either.
I think it's either Sweat or fucking Sweat might have 10 though.
I think Sweat already has 10.
Maybe one of the D tackles.
Maybe.
I forget, but yeah, they almost have 4 with
Yeah.
fucking.
Which, if they do, get that 4th one, that is an NFL record. No team in the history of NFL has ever done that.
Yeah, which is pretty insane actually.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. No, I mean, again, that is a stellar defense. I think their big thing, and I mean, it's shown in two different games now. Gotta hold on to the football, man. Gotta hold on to the football.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's always the rule, right? Like is limit turnovers, but um, yeah, if they don't turn the ball over as much as they did, obviously they probably go on to win that game.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate. Because I would have loved to beat the Cowboys with a backup QB, but
Of course,
yeah, I'm not worried about anything because obviously if Jalen's in that game, then I think the Eagles just kind of shit on the Cowboys. So it just kind of showed just how good the Eagles are.
yeah,
Because Minshew wasn't playing well either. I mean, he was playing like shit, and they
sure,
still put up fucking whatever it was, 34 points. So um, I think we'll be all right. Definitely, just for injury and rest, I really want that first round bye though. So I need to win one of these last two games for sure.
excuse me. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um, Other big news, also a little bit more recent. I think this happened like literally, like the day after the JJ Watt announcement. Derek Carr benched by the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
Um, are you surprised?
Nah.
I'm a little
Um.
surprised.
Listen, I think Derek Carr is one of the most overrated players in the league. To be honest with you.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Um. I think eventually you have to make a change because I don't think. I mean, I don't think this guy is like your franchise QB. So.
Then again, I also don't think Jared Stidham is your franchise QB either.
No. No. But um. Like, I don't think a change is a bad thing to want. Um. Because I'm assuming. I mean, you don't bench him now and then proceed with him. So I'm assuming they're gonna
Sure.
look to get a QB in the offseason. So
Yeah, so yeah, they benched him now. Jared Stidham's gonna start the final two games for them for the rest of the year. Um, and Derek Carr's actually left the team. Like he's not at the facility. He's not in the locker room. It
oh,
was
he
his
bounced.
request. It was his request. He was like, "Hey, I want to give the team space, so then that way I'm not a distraction, and that way you guys can continue to focus on just playing football."
Oh,
Um,
that's
which I
nice of him, I
respect that.
guess.
Yeah, I respect that. Um, but then shortly after that,
Hmm.
it was kind of heavily rumored and seeming very likely, which would make sense, that they are likely to trade him in the off season.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Um, do do the do the Washington Commanders have another QB to add to the cycle,
Oh,
or maybe
just stop.
the Colts, right? Like, that seems to just be this merry-go-round of QBs over the
Dude,
past few
there's
years.
these teams, bro. They keep doing this, man. They keep
Yeah,
grabbing QBs on the fucking back end of their careers, or
yep,
like as soon as they're starting to decline,
yep.
and they do terrible. And they're like, "Oh my god, man, we get so unlucky with these fucking QB." Just go fucking do your homework and draft the fucking quarterback, man.
Yeah,
Like pay the fucking cost that all these other good teams pay. Look, notice all these teams with good quarterbacks usually fucking traded up to go fucking get them, right?
yep,
Like they're usually draft picks. Wow, imagine that, dude. Just go fucking. It's just do your homework and draft the QB, man, or just
yeah,
take a shot at someone. Look at Philadelphia. Oh, we're gonna draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. Everyone's like, what a stupid fucking decision. Like
right,
now look at it. It's like one of the best fucking draft picks ever.
sure,
Like it's like, dude, like just take a swing on one of these guys at later rounds, maybe. Like get someone who's graded to be a second or third round pick and just take them. I mean, who else are you gonna pick with your third round pick? Some bullshit
right.
fucking kicker, punter, I don't know, defensive tackle that'll never see the field. Like just try it, man. What do you have to lose?
Bro, the day I ever see a team take a kicker or a punter in the 3rd round, I think I just give up on the NFL at that point. I think I'm just done watching it. I'll go watch the Canadian Football League.
Okay, you're not forgetting the Bucks now, are you?
Oh yeah, true. True.
What was
I
that
did.
guy's name? They
I did
drafted in the
forget about
second
that.
round?
Yeah, I did forget about that.
Who
Yeah.
drafted the kicker in the second round? Wow. That
Yeah.
fucking worked out, didn't it?
Yeah. Right. I did forget about that. Oh
The
yeah.
guy was terrible too.
Yeah. That was the thing. That was the thing. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But I will say, like, I am actually a little surprised by it. Solely because of the fact I know, like, I believe I could be wrong. This is where you got to do your research. But I believe he does lead the league in interceptions.
Oh, really?
I believe.
I
Um,
believe. I believe.
but him and Devontae Adams have more touchdowns than any other wide receiver or QB duo in the league right now.
Okay.
More than Jalen and AJ, more than Mahomes and Kelsey, more than Tua and Tyreek.
That's all well and good. If your team wasn't bad. But they're not particularly great, you know?
No,
So
no. Are they still in the playoff hunt though? Or are they like
uh
officially out of it now?
I don't think they're officially out, but yeah, they have to have some dog shit happen.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to look this up. I thought they were still. I thought they were still in the hunt yet. Because I know. Um. Do, 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 do. No, they are out of the playoff hunt after losing to Pittsburgh. They were out, which would make sense as to why you would then go ahead and bench Derek Carr at that point.
Yep. Makes
So
sense.
makes sense. I get it. I get it now. But yeah, I'm like again, I'm interested to see where he ends up going. I'm interested to see what Vegas gets for him. More importantly, what their asking price is going to be, um, and what teams are going to be willing to give up. Because I don't disagree with you. I do think he's an overrated QB.
Yeah.
But as a whole, he's not horrible. You know what I mean? Like he's shown that like he could play well. If you give him the right scheme and the right the right team around him. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I mean, ultimately, who needs a QB right now? Atlanta, they need a QB.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton. I mean,
Right.
someone's definitely gonna take a chance on him.
Carolina needs a QB.
Mhm.
You could potentially make the argument for the Jets kind of need a QB.
Yeah, true.
Depending on what happens with Mike White, because honestly, he's shown that he has some talent. The Commanders, the who else? Who else? There's definitely a few. There's definitely a few
Colts.
teams. Colts, yeah, Colts, right. Fuck, I'd even argue the Browns need a QB because
I
Deshaun
was
Watson,
literally just gonna say the Browns, no bullshit.
he's played horrible football since coming back.
No. Hasn't played
Um,
football in like 2.5 years, and it's like,
yeah,
wow,
dude, he
I'm a bit
looks
rusty.
he looks so clueless out on the field, man. It's actually kind of funny to watch,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, definitely, there's definitely some teams out there who could use some help at quarterback. But
True,
again,
true,
it's like
true,
how
true.
much are you willing to give up for a guy who's shown that he could be, pretty mediocre as a whole. And taking on a hefty contract too. That's the other side of it as well. So,
Contract's not that bad nowadays, right?
it's
Was it
not
25 mil?
horrible. Something like that. It's not horrible, but it's up there. definitely up there.
Dude, people just need to fucking get rookie QBs, man. Just go draft a QB. You have a cheap ass contract for a while. All these good QBs were draft picks, dude. It just do it, man. Just
Not a horrible idea on
spend the
paper.
3 first round picks. If he fails, fuck it. You fucking tried instead of just being in this cycle of taking QBs from other teams who are dog shit,
Yeah,
and you'll keep being dog shit because of it. At least you took a
yeah,
flyer on someone.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. However, how many times have you seen, you know, a first round QB not make it in the NFL,
Yeah, many, of course.
right? So it's one
But
of those things to where
how
like,
many have made it?
mm, truthfully, probably not as many as the ones that have failed.
Okay, but does that mean you shouldn't do it?
Not necessarily. No, that's obviously not the point I'm making. Because obviously, there's times you come across those like once in a generation talents, right? Like that. You're like, I have to get this guy. Um, but then there's times where like you'll see teams they'll just take a QB just because they want to take a QB and they need one, and they
Yeah,
end up wasting that first round pick on the guy that has shown that he ain't fucking worth it.
yeah, true.
Um, and not even because there's hype around him or anything. It's just that's ultimately just the route they go. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where he goes, what teams are willing to give up for him, what the asking price is going to be for him. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, and then it'll be interesting to see what ultimately what
Yes,
Vegas
intrigued.
does.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes.
Um, and then ultimately again just to see what Vegas decides to do with their QB situation after that.
Yeah, true.
But well, Mr. Lambert, we're almost at the end of 2022. Um,
Yep,
not gonna lie,
indeed.
man. I feel like this year kind of like flew by.
Yeah, I agree. I think it went pretty quick.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Um, Still all in all a shitty year though. but
Yep,
um,
classic.
as I mentioned before though, I mean, so again, the NFL has been crazy this year. Um, absolutely nuts. Um, if you were to try to give a bold prediction for something that is going to happen in 2023, what would that bold prediction be?
Um, Bill Belichick retires
Interesting.
at the end of the 2023 season. He realizes this just ain't Eat Chief, and he quits.
So you're saying not at the end of this season, but next season?
Next season, at the end of next season, he will retire.
Huh. I could see it. I mean, he's getting up there. Um, I think it all depends on how the season goes for New England, though. If they make strides and get better, which you know, having an actual offensive coordinator might fucking help.
True,
Still can't
true,
fucking believe that. Which apparently they want to bring Bill O'Brien back, and I'm not super big on that, but I mean it's better than fucking
true.
Matt Patricia calling the plays on offense. But but yeah. So I mean ultimately, yeah. I mean I could see that. I could definitely see that. Again, ultimately I think it just depends on again depends on what happens with the team and if Mac can fucking find his groove again, man. I just I don't know what it is. I don't know if Josh McDaniels just is just an offensive genius under Bill Belichick and just knows how to make things work, even if they're not the most successful things in the world, still make it work. Um, or what, man? But yeah, I mean, Mac is just he seems very very flustered. This
Yeah, he
year.
really does. Yeah.
Um, and it shows. You see it in so many clips of just him freaking out, kind of like Tom Brady does. It's kind of fitting actually,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
kind of fitting. Um, you want to hear my bold prediction?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Lions get into the playoffs and face the Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
Is that bold?
That's extremely bold, considering the fact they need a lot to go their way to even get into the playoffs.
Oh, you mean you mean this fucking season?
Yeah, no, I mean like this season, like 2023 NFC Conference Championship in like January
Oh shit.
or February, whenever it is.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bold, and that'd be pretty bold and insane, actually.
Yeah, but I think it could happen. I think it could happen. I said it. I said it. I said it a couple weeks ago. I think the Lions could actually get into the playoffs, and if they do, watch out because that team is a tough team to stop. I mean, they lost their last game, but so did all the teams like around them. So
Yeah.
ultimately, it was an even wash, and nobody moved essentially.
Yeah.
But they have to win out these next two games. And then they need. I'm trying to even think who's in the wild card spots right now. The Giants. I think they're one. They need the Giants to lose. They would need either Carolina or Tampa Bay, depending on who doesn't win that division. Which that's an exciting matchup for this weekend. Carolina versus Tampa Bay.
True.
Pretty much winner takes all there. So should be fun.
True.
But so again, they need some things to go their way. But again, with how great their offense is playing, their defense is starting to get better. Although they didn't play too hot last week. Again, I would not be shocked if they get into the playoffs and make a run and surprise some people. I don't think they get to the Super Bowl because truthfully, again, I truthfully I do think
that'd be on a different level of just
that would be so insane.
Different level of miracle. Holy fuck.
Yeah. But I truthfully do think you're gonna see the Kelsey brothers play against each other in the Super Bowl this year. I think it's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah, I think you're gonna see the two best teams play against each other this year. I mean, I as often as Philly can make mistakes with turnovers and stuff like that. Think about how many times they turned the ball over against Dallas, and they still managed to put up 34 points and almost win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the game against Washington, same thing. You know what I mean? Like they still put up what did they put up? Like 20 points in that game. Like that's in some cases that's still an opportunity to win or a winning score even.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So I think again, I think they're just too talented. And now granted you're only as good as your last game, so you never know. But yeah, I just can't see I just can't see a Super Bowl without them in it.
They are very, very strong right now.
Yeah. And
2,000-yard receivers. Devontae went over 1,000
right
last game. So.
Right. 1,000-yard rusher with Miles Sanders.
True.
So and then obviously again we talked about their defense earlier. Like, I mean, again, I just don't know how you beat them. Especially playoff football in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, there's no shot. There's no way.
Yeah, that fucking stadium is gonna be insane.
Yeah. So, it'll be exciting to see. And even as the guy who's obviously not an Eagles fan, I'm personally excited to watch it. But, and then flip side AFC, like, again, Chiefs are playing great football. A little bit tougher there. Like I don't think it's so cut and dry because obviously the Bengals are playing really well right now.
Mhm.
Again, the Chargers are starting to pick up steam. The Ravens, who knows? You know what I mean? If Lamar Jackson comes back, which they're saying he's likely to come back, for the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe they do something special. Um, so some teams that they gotta kind of watch out for, especially the Bengals. I mean the Bengals are playing really, really good football lately. Um, so it'll be interesting, but I think a little bit of that Mahomes magic is gonna end up happening, and throughout the playoffs. And again, I think you're gonna see Philly versus Kansas City, which that will be a very, very fun matchup. I would love to see that.
No doubt. Yeah.
It does mean that we probably wouldn't get an episode of the New Heights podcast for probably about 4 months
Yep.
because
I'm with you.
whatever brother loses um is not gonna want to talk about that.
Yeah. True.
but but it'll but again, I think that'd be a fun matchup. But anyway, got off topic. Again, I wouldn't be shocked, man. I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions do something special this year.
Yeah. I believe it. Could be.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible. But all right, that's gonna do it. That wraps things up for this week's episode. Episode number 4. I'm keeping it. Sorry, episode number 4 of Keeping It on the DL. Been a fun first couple episodes so far. I'm really enjoying this, man. Really having fun. Hopefully you guys are too. And if you are, be sure to leave a like. Let us know in the comments down below what you think, any personal takes that you may have, as well as be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, all that YouTube stuff. And then follow us on the socials as well to check out various clips and things like that, and just to give some support to the channel. We as always greatly appreciate it. Other than that, man, have an awesome and happy new year. Definitely stay safe out there. Some crazy people in this world. Especially on New Year's Eve. So
Yeah.
definitely be careful. Have fun though. Enjoy your time. Lambert, do you got anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
Yeah. Listen. Okay. If you play Overwatch 2 and you play Mercy and you pocket heal Pharahs, you're a fucking pussy. That's it. I gotta say about that.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Yeah, that's totally fair. All right, guys, absolute pleasure. I'm gonna be really corny. We'll see you guys next year. Peace out. Catch you later.